Happy Veterans Day. This is a day to remember all the men and women in the armed forces today and those that have retired and those that have come before in other wars. We have a tragedy occurring today, not just the tragedy of war itself, but in the harsh conditions that our men and women live in and fight in Afghanistan and in Iraq. But the other tragedy that isn't being talked about is the number of men and women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan as addicts and alcoholics, especially heroin and opium addicts. It's an absolute epidemic going on in some parts of Afghanistan, and why shouldn't it? We've got men and women over there in incredibly tough situations, in unconventional war that is much more difficult to live with and fear on a day-to-day basis. And guess what? They're living in the center of opium production for the entire world. We had that same problem in Vietnam. And the number of men and women coming back from Vietnam that were ending up homeless, that were ending up in horrible life situations because of their addiction and their alcoholism and the destruction that it had done in their family and in their lives. We're finding that same thing happening again. And we're supposed to be in a zero tolerance environment in the armed services. You get caught, you get tested dirty, you're out. Well, I guess they're not doing that. And maybe the reason why is there might be too many people that are getting addicted to this incredibly cheap, this incredibly available drug, opium, which turns into heroin addicts when they come back home, and maybe even before they leave. Either way, they're both horrible, horrible, scary addictions. What are we going to do about it? We need to bring recovery to the bases in Afghanistan and Iraq, 12-step recovery. We need to implement what actually works. And then as they come out, we need to do the same thing. We have a program, our number 12 program, in a veteran shelter, or we should call it transitional housing in Kent, Ohio. 99, maybe even you could say 100%, probably 100% of the people in there that are homeless veterans suffer from the disease of alcoholism and addiction. And we are bringing strength and hope to those men. There's a man that works there, 20 years of sobriety, and he's really doing much more than we're doing, being able to sit down with everyone that comes in there and be able to give them some hope that there is a way to recover. They don't have to live on the streets anymore. They don't have to go through this horrible cycle of heroin addiction, detox in the VA hospital, and then into transitional living, and then back again. This isn't something that has to continue to happen over and over again. We can do something about it. And I think we should think about that on Veterans Day. We should think about the position we as a society have put these young men and women in. And we need to do something about it, and we need to do something about it soon.